In this video, we're going to learn more about simulation tools. The simulation tools can be found on the top right of the main toolbar, which includes Prepare, Dress, Finish, Undress, and Styling tools. We have already learned about the Prepare mode in the previous lesson. To begin, we'll load the tutorial file from the previous lesson, where the pieces are already arranged and prepared. To start, a useful tip: Prepare mode. Pressing the Prepare button is a quick way to reset the garment simulation. Dressing a garment will allow pattern pieces we have prepared to drape on the avatar, and for the avatar to go from its prepare pose to the final pose that was selected at the top of the 3D window. We click on the Dress button to begin simulating the garment. When we click on Dress, we'll see that the Finish button is highlighted with a line moving around the edge of the icon while the simulation continues. The first simulation from Prepare mode would be completed automatically, meaning that each time we click Prepare, then Dress, we don't have to manually click on the Finish button for the simulation to be completed. The line circles around the Finish icon until the simulation is complete. Once the simulation is complete, the Finish icon grays out. When we make any changes to the garment that may affect simulation, the Dress icon changes to Update 3D. This indicates that there are changes to the garment that we may need to simulate. For example, if we amend the stitching or edit the pattern shapes, we can try to delete a stitch on the garment. Let's delete the stitch on the side seam to see the change. You can now see that the Dress icon has changed to Update 3D. Click on Update 3D to allow the garment to simulate. As the garment simulates, the lines continue to circle around the finished icon. This indicates that the garment is in a simulation process and will only complete simulation once we manually click on the Finish icon. So what happens after we complete a simulation? When we finish a simulation of a garment, there will be a snapshot saved. A snapshot saves the final simulated garment and works as a reference point, allowing you to quickly retrieve previously simulated output of a dressed garment. We can click on this icon to load a snapshot, or we can also view snapshots in the 3D Resources pane. Here's an example of how we can utilize a snapshot. At any time, we can use the Undress button to remove the garment from simulation. We can dress the garment again in two ways. 1. Using Prepare, then beginning simulation again using Dress. Or 2. Loading a snapshot. Loading a snapshot is really useful if we don't want to redress the garment from Prepare again. There are two types of snapshots: an automatic snapshot and a manual snapshot. An automatic snapshot is created each time a simulation finishes, and it overwrites the previous snapshot for the same avatar. For example, we can restitch the side seam of the garment, then click Dress. Once we click Finish, the previous snapshot with the side seam unstitched is no longer available and is replaced with the current simulated garment snapshot. A manual snapshot must be created. This snapshot will not be overwritten when we dress and finish the garment. To save a manual snapshot, we go to the Snapshots pane located in the 3D Resource pane and click Save Snapshot. Name the snapshot, then click Save. The snapshot now appears on the Snapshots pane, and the name will also be indicated here. The selected snapshot will be highlighted. Do note, for manual snapshots, it only saves the drape of the garment. Therefore, if you change stitching, fabric, or pattern piece, you need to update the manual snapshot. For example, if we were to edit the stitching of the garment again, let's delete the stitch on the side seam again. Dress and finish the garment. An automatic snapshot will be created. If we load the manually saved snapshot created previously, it will load the drape at the time we save the snapshot. However, the Dress button will prompt you to Update 3D. When we click on Update 3D, the side seam will open up as we have deleted the stitch. Great! Now we have a better understanding of snapshots. Before we end, we want to share with you some useful points on snapshots. Number 1. When you open a BW file, the first thing you should check is if it has a snapshot. This would save you time, as you do not have to prepare and dress every single BW file you open. Number 2, when we have multiple snapshots, it can be confusing to remember which snapshot would be overwritten if we simulate the garment. When simulating, we will see on the snapshot pane that a snapshot is highlighted. This is a snapshot that would be overwritten once we clicked Finish. Number 3. While simulating, if we need to stop the simulation without saving the current drape, we can load a snapshot again. In this case, it would not finish the simulation and load back the previous drape so we can work from there again. Lastly, if we dress the garment on another avatar or another pose, the automatic snapshot created with the previous avatar or pose would not be replaced. It would create another automatic snapshot with the selected avatar. In this video, you've learned how to simulate a garment and work with snapshots. For more information, visit our help website.